Hi my friends! This week we are learning all about friendship and kindness. So I'm going to read you a book before we do an activity. It's called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? By Carol McLeod. So she wrote the words. She's the author. And then it says illustrated by David Messing. So if an author writes the word, do you know what an illustrator does? You're right. Draws the picture. So, have you filled a bucket today? All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. Do you see in this picture, everyone's carrying a bucket? You have a bucket. Each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors all have a bucket. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. So I have a bucket, Teacher Myra has a bucket, Teacher Sylvia and Teacher Jolie all have buckets. And so does everyone in your family. Your bucket has only one purpose. It's supposed to hold your good thoughts and your good feelings about yourself. You feel very happy and good when your bucket is full. And you feel very sad and lonely when your bucket is empty. So you see, she looks very happy because her bucket's full. And how does he look? Sad because his bucket is empty. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full and they're sad when their buckets are empty. It's great to have a full bucket, and this is how it works. You need other people to fill your bucket and other people need you to fill their bucket. You can fill your own bucket too. So, how do you fill a bucket? I wonder how we can fill a bucket. You fill a bucket when you show love to someone, when you say or do something kind, or even when you give someone a smile. That's being a bucket filler. A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says or does nice things that make others feel special. When you make someone feel special, you are filling a bucket. So this little girl didn't have an umbrella, so this friend is sharing. So look at, you can see that they're filling each other's bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or when you ignore someone. Ignoring means when you're not being a good listener. That's being a bucket dipper. A bully is a bucket dipper. A bucket dipper says or does mean things to make others feel bad. Oh, look at, she feels sad, he feels sad. They're getting their buckets dipped into. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. They think they can fill their own bucket by dipping into someone else's, but that will never work. You never fill your own bucket when you dip into somebody else's. But guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel good when you help others feel good. All day long, we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You love your mom and dad. Why not tell them you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets right up. So you can tell people you love them. You can do lots of nice things to be a bucket filler. Watch for smiles to light up their faces. You will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. here are some ideas for you. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. You could invite the new kid to play. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. You could tell your grandpa that you like to spend time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. It doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places to be. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start each day by saying to yourself, I'm going to do something to fill someone's bucket today. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, did I fill a bucket today? Yes, I did. That's the life of a bucket filler, and that's you. And so, my friends, what we're going to do now is we are going to get ready to do a fun sorting bucket filler and bucket dipper game. So we're going to look at different scenarios to see if we do that. Are we being a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Are you ready for some fun? Me too. Let's try. I hope you enjoyed the story. Now it's time for us to cut out our pictures for the sorting. Okay, my friends, now that we have everything cut out, it's time to talk about it. So this one says bucket filler. Do you see how the bucket is happy and smiling? So this is where we're going to put all of the things that make people happy. That's a bucket filler. Now this one says bucket dipper. You see that sad little face on the bucket? These are the yucky things we do that dip into people's buckets. So we have kicking. Do you think it's a bucket filler or a bucket dipper for kicking? What about taking toys? Ooh, look at them pulling on that truck. Do you think you would be dipping into somebody's bucket or filling it when you pull on the toy from them? Ooh, how about respecting space? Do you see how the boy and the girl are sitting so nicely and they're not touching each other and they're respecting their space? What about yelling? Do you think yelling at somebody would be a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Ooh, how about in class during circle time when we ask for a quiet hand raise and you raise your hand? Do you think that's being a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Great job. Pushing. What do you think? Do you think it would make somebody feel happy or sad if you pushed them? How about this one? Listening to a teacher. Doesn't just have to be a teacher. It could be a mommy or a daddy or a babysitter or nanny or grandparents. How do you think it makes them feel when you listen to them? Oh, hitting. How does it make you feel if somebody hits you? Is your bucket being filled or is it being dipped into? What about keeping hands and feet to yourself? This one can be a little bit tricky, but how do you think it makes other people feel when you are responsible for your body and you keep it to yourself? this one is really hard to do sometimes. Waiting patiently. Do you think it makes people feel happy or sad when you are patient? Let's say if your mommy or your daddy's on a work call and you are waiting so nicely to talk to them when they're finished. Or in this case, waiting so patiently to eat that yummy, yummy cupcake. Are you being a bucket filler or a bucket dipper when you are waiting patiently? What about being kind and respectful? Now, I know when somebody is kind and respectful to me, it fills my bucket. How would it make you feel if somebody was being kind to you? Look at that, they both have smiles on their faces. How do you think that makes them feel? This one is a tricky one. It's called bullying. It's when you're not being very nice to somebody. This friend is laughing at this friend. And do you see this one's laughing and this one's sad? How do you think it makes the boy in the yellow feel if somebody's not being kind to him? Probably pretty sad. I bet his bucket is being dipped into. How do you think it makes people feel when you tell secrets? Cleaning up toys. Do you think you fill someone's bucket or you dip into it when you clean up toys? I bet you all can be bucket fillers by helping clean up your toys, because that'll help fill mommy and daddy's buckets. Pulling hair. Ouch. How do you think it would make somebody feel if you pulled their hair? Would you be a filler or a dipper? Helping someone. Do you see this little girl has an owie and this friend has the first aid kit and gave her a Band-Aid? Do you think that filled her bucket or do you think it dipped into it? And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you also fill your own bucket. Biting, yikes! How would it make you feel if someone bit you? Would that be dipping into your bucket or would it be filling your bucket? Probably doesn't feel very good. How about standing in line nicely? Remember when we would go to the social hall or the sanctuary and our friends would line up nicely? That would be a bucket filler. If you line up and you're pushing or you're elbowing people, that might be a bucket dipper. But standing in line nicely, bucket filler. What about playing nicely? Maybe with your friends or your brothers or your sisters, maybe your cousins. Bucket filler, great job. Giving a high five. When you give somebody a high five, how do you think that makes them feel? It makes me feel happy when I get high fives. Oh, look at, they're sharing the bear. How nice. Do you think they're bucket filling or bucket dipping? Great job. What about scribbling on someone else's artwork? Oh my goodness. When I work so hard on my art and somebody scribbles on it, it makes me feel very sad. Would that be a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Great job. Spitting. That's probably not a very nice thing and probably dips into people's buckets. Plus, when you spit at somebody, you're spreading your germs to them. Oh my goodness, we can't have that. Let's see, we have a couple more. What about not listening? Oh, that's a big bucket dipper because it doesn't make the person talking feel nice. Let's see. Breaking toys. How does it make you feel if somebody breaks your toys? Probably a bucket dipper, you're right. Now we have two more. Taking turns. These friends are playing a game called chess, where one person goes and then the next person goes. back and forth, taking turns. You're right, it's a filler. And this one, oh my goodness, is the most important one. Saying please and thank you. When you have nice manners, do you think you're being a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Okay, I hope you use your manners because that is such a great way to be a bucket filler. Now, we are going to set up our display and we are going to sort being bucket fillers and bucket dippers. Are you ready? Great. Okay, my friends, now that we have cut out our pictures, it's time for us to sort. So we have a section for being a bucket filler. Do you see how the bucket is so happy and it's full of beautiful colors? And then we also have a section for being a bucket dipper. Look at that sad face. So let's sort our pictures to see if we are being bucket fillers or bucket dippers. Okay, my friends, we've now sorted all of our different pictures. Look at all of the different ways we can be bucket fillers. We can listen to our teachers or our mommies and daddies. We can take turns, wait patiently, clean up our toys, give a high five, help someone, use our manners and say please and thank you, respect people's space, being kind and respectful, sharing, keeping your hands and feet to yourself. So great job for being a bucket filler. These are the ways that maybe aren't so great that we should try to avoid to be a bucket dipper. But look at how many options we have to be bucket fillers each day. Awesome job, my bucket fillers. I'm so proud of you for sorting those so nicely. Now we can even color this beautiful picture that says, I am a bucket filler. Let's color it together so we can hang it in our rooms to remind us each day to be a bucket filler. Let's color. Grab your markers or your crayons. Ready, set, go! When you're done coloring your picture, you can hang it up in your room or maybe on your refrigerator, so that way you can be reminded every day to be a bucket filler. I hope you guys enjoyed our lesson on being a bucket filler. Hopefully you take the time to color this and hang it up so you're reminded to be a bucket filler each day. I love you all so much. Thanks for joining us, and I can't wait to see your bucket filler pictures. Love you. Mwah!